Hello guys, today we are going to discuss a new phylum of kingdom Animalia, that is phylum Nematoda. This is also called as Aschelminthes and Nemathelminthes. So all three are going to mean the same. So here nematodes, the name came from nematodia. So that is from Greek name, that is nema or nematos, means thread-like structures. In Greek Aedes means the species, so thread-like species. So here nematode means the thread-like species as they are going to appear. So here in this picture you can observe these are the nematodes organisms which are the thread-like species, which are appearing like a thread-like species from thin to some range of its size. In this slide, we will discuss the general salient characteristics or features. So nematodes are group of worms. So here whatever the worms you have come across in your life, which you have seen, they are the group of worms which are going to come under the nematodes, commonly known as roundworms, and the long tube-like appearance that lacks a visual distinct head or tail. So here when you're going to observe these diagrams, the pictures, this doesn't make you to understand which is the head and which is the tail, because there is no any appearances of such kind of the sensory organs or the tissue organs which are distinct in observation through your naked eyes. So on the basis of that appearance, the point has been included, that is the appearance that lacks a visual distinct head or tail. So visually you can't able to see the head or the tail. Nematode accommodates over 15,000 species and more. So here there will be 15,000 species within nematode phylum. They are found in every part of the earth lithosphere. So here lithosphere is nothing but it is the crust and uppermost solid mantle. So here what you're seeing a flower bracket mentioning with lithosphere, and in the bracket crust and uppermost solid mantle is said to be lithosphere. So within this particular earth's layer there will be the presence of the worms which belongs to the nematode. So those are around 15,000 species and they are found in every part of the earth's lithosphere. It means that the maximum habitat of these worms is the terrestrial and also some with the aquatic. They are free living organisms in terrestrial and aquatic environments, or as parasites of both plants and animals host. So free living in the sense they are not going to depend on any of the hosts for their survival. It means they are not going to feed on any of the hosts. They will be present in the terrestrial on the open environment of the land, as we said in the lithosphere, and if it is in the aquatic it should be in the marine or the freshwater bodies. So here aquatic environments are parasite of both plants and animals. So these nematodes again they are going to be going to have a habitat to be as the hosts of the animals or the plants, where they are going to be going to lead a parasitic life. So the free living have much simpler life cycle than the parasitic. The free living is going to have much simpler life cycle in the sense they are not required of they are not going to require the any other host. They are very free to reproduce or to develop or to grow within the normal free environment, either the terrestrial or the aquatic. So there is no need of the secondary host for the life cycle. So here these free living species feed on materials as the varied as algae, fungi, small animals, fecal matter, dead organisms, and living tissues. So these are nutrition for these free living animals. But the parasitic nematodes include hookworms, pinworms, and worms that cause trichinosis, elephantiasis, and river blindness. So here it is nothing but whatever the parasitic nematode is present either in the plant or in the animal, they are going to feed on that particular host's tissue and they are going to cause the medical symptoms, that is the diseases or any ailments. Now next slide, this is also the discussion of the salient features. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical. So here when you are going to consider the nematodes, they are round worms. Their body will be round, not like platyhelminthes. In the platyhelminthes it will be flat of the worms. Here it is round worms. So they are bilaterally symmetrical. If you are going to cut the organism from its anterior to the posterior part in a single line, it is going to give two halves, equal halves. That is nothing but the bilaterally symmetrical. They are cylindrical in shape. So as we have said, these are the organisms which are round in their shape. It is also nothing but the cylindrical shape. They are triploblastic. So in platyhelminthes it is also a triploblastic, but as in platyhelminthes the differentiation is very less compared to the nematode. Here the differentiation is higher within the tissue compared to the platyhelminthes. So they are triploblastic with ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. So ectoderm is the epidermis. So here there will be the protective cuticle secreted by a layer of skin cells. So here whatever the ectoderm will be present, that is called it as the epidermis, which is going to secrete skin layer of skin that is going to act as the protective cuticle for the organism. The roundworm's epidermis is made up of collections of undifferentiated cellular material. So here it is undifferentiated cellular material in the sense the whole skin or the epidermis is going to be made up of the similar tissue or the layer of the cells or the type of the cells. The cuticle is the strong but flexible outer layer that serves to support and protect the worm, and with movement also helps to maintain the internal pressure that gives the worm its characteristic round shape. Now here whatever the characteristic or the cylinder shape of the organism is appearing, that is because of the cuticle, which is going to hold good the whatever the pressure of the overall tissue of the organism is exerted on the epidermis. The same pressure will be exerted on the cuticle, but the cuticle is going to hold good the pressure and it is going to give the aid in the movement of the organism also. Their cuticle molts periodically. So here the cuticle is going to be molted, that is removed, and a new cuticle is going to develop. The epidermis is syncytial and contains dorsal and ventral nerve cords. So here epidermis is syncytial or syncytial. It is nothing but that whatever the initial cells which are going to take part during the development of the organism to form the epidermis, those are going to remains the same, and that single layer of the cells are going to divide and going to form the overall the epidermis. However, the cavity is lined with mesodermal tissue on the outside but endodermal tissue internally. So here the cavity in the sense whatever the space which is observed after the epidermis internally to the body of the organism, that is called it as the cavity, is lined with mesodermal tissue on the outside but endodermal tissue internally. So you remember this point. In further discussion you will understand very well. So before to that we will discuss here itself. Now here within this diagram you can observe this is the cross section of the nematode. Here you can see epidermis, which has been marked just below to a cuticle. Cuticle is the thicker outer layer, epidermis is the thinner inner layer. And you can see whatever you are observing here, this is the cavities, that is this free space which is present within the body. Now here what we have discussed about the mesoderm and endoderm is that this is the body cavity, gut cavity, which is having the outer layer to be as the mesoderm. So here whatever the outer layer is there, which will be the mesoderm, and this gut cavity which is lined is having the endoderm. So here the development of the external parts of the gut cavity, let it be these muscles, those also, and whatever the components here, that also there will be the development of this tissue because of the mesodermal tissue, and endoderm is going to make the lineage or the lineage of the gut cavity. These exhibit the tissue level organization. So here tissue level organization in the sense that nervous tissue, digestive system having different kind of the tissues, and muscle tissues, and excretory organs going to have the different number of tissues. So here this is called to be as the tissue level of organization. Here these organisms are going to have chemosensory organs called aphids situated on the lips. Now here chemosensory organs in the nothing but the mouth is going to have certain organs or teeth like structures. Those are going to sense whatever the nutrition present within the medium. As you know that roundworms are the worms within the terrestrial environment. They are sluggish and they are going to present in the wet areas where they are going to feed on the mud itself. Whatever the nutrition present in that mud, that is going to attract these organisms, and they are going to swallow those or engulf those particles, and they are going to extract the nutrition, and they are going to excrete whatever has been swallowed. So here during this time or during this process, the chemosensory organs are going to help them to identify a particular nutrition present within the particular environment, that habitat. Now here the roundworm uses the 16 organs in its mouth to bring food into its digestive system. So there are organs within the mouth of the roundworm. So it helps in the movement or swallowing or engulfing of the food into the body or the gut cavity. They have a very simple body plan. Below the skin cells is a layer of muscle cells. The body wall muscles are longitudinally placed, preventing anything but side to side movement. Now here you can see this is the organism. Now from there we are going to take the cross section. As the organism is a round one, the cross section will appear like this, round like structure. So as we in the earlier slide we discussed where is the epidermis, mesoderm and endoderm. Now we will discuss the body cavity as it has been explained here. In this you can see the body is having the simple body plan. So there will be the muscles and with certain neurons attached to it. Okay, and this what the white space is you are observing, it is the body cavity. So here you can see the hypodermis and muscle uterus, ovary, excretory duct, ventral cord, and this will be the dorsal cord. So if you are going to take a section out of here, you will see this picture, the same thing but enlarged here. Okay, so this is what here they have a very simple body plan. Below the skin cells is a layer of muscle cells. The body wall muscles are longitudinally placed, preventing anything but side to side movement. Longitudinally placed in the sense the arrangement of the muscle cells or the body wall muscles will be from anterior to the posterior. They will be arranged longitudinally from anterior to the posterior. So that is what the meaning. So to the whole body is having the muscle cells. Now here the muscle cells are controlled by two nerves that run the length of the roundworm's body, one down the dorsal side and one down the ventral side. As we have spoken that this is the dorsal part which is having the dorsal nerve, and this will be the ventral part which is having the ventral nerve cord. These are going to aid or help to control the length of the roundworm's body, in the sense whatever the muscles cells which are present just beneath the epidermis, those will be managed by the nerves, one down the dorsal side and the one down the ventral side. Roundworms have a complete digestive tract with a mouth at the anterior end and an anus at the posterior end. You would have observed in the first slide we discussed that the appearance is not going to show that the head or the tail of the organism, as we are going to observe visually, but with the help of the certain magnifying glasses or any equipment which shows the magnification within the labs is going to show the head and an anus at the posterior end. With the help of this observation, the roundworms have a complete digestive tract. As we are observing the head and the tail, we can suggest or be obvious to understand that the digestive tract is present in the nematodes. Their body has a primitive body cavity or pseudocoelom. Pseudocoelom or the primitive body cavity. What does it mean? It is nothing but, for example, in highly developed organisms, example like mammals, whatever the body will be present, it is going to have a certain gap to lodge or accommodate the different organs. So here all the organs will be attached to one another but freely present within that particular body cavity. You can observe in human beings, you can observe in any other organism like cow, goat, sheep, or if you take even other higher phylums like after this nematodes, those are also going to show some body cavity presence. So here when you are going to compare this free cavity to the nematodes, these are pseudocoelom. Pseudocoelom is nothing but they doesn't have a complete body cavity to have a separately organized organ to perform. But as per the explanation, as it is a pseudocoelom, whatever the tissue is there, with the help of that tissue only all the other tissue organization has taken place. You can see dorsal cord, dorsal nerve, uterus muscle, ovary, ventral cord, ventral nerve, body, intestine, excretory duct, innervation process, hypodermis, everything is fused to some extent with each other, and to some extent they are appearing to be the free from each other. So it is a pseudocoelom, that is the false coelom or the false cavity. The alimentary canal is distinct with the mouth and the anus. So here alimentary canal, nothing but whatever it starts from the mouth till to the end of the anus, that is the excretory pore. Till that it is called to be as the alimentary canal. In pseudocoeloms, however, the cavity is lined with mesodermal tissue on the outside but endodermal tissue internally. Endodermal tissue develops into the digestive tract, while mesodermal tissue can become a number of different body components. As we have already spoken, that the mesoderm is going to develop into the different body components, while the endoderm is going to form the gut cavity. Not only in this diagram, even here the same thing, even here the same thing what we have discussed. All these tissues are formed because of mesoderm. Whatever it has been lined here, it is the endoderm. So further is the two excretory canals located on either side of the nematode body. The waste eventually leaves the worm body through its anus located at the opposite end of the cylindrical body, excreted in the form of ammonia. Now here, this is the excretory duct. It is also excretory duct, which is going to move the waste ammonia to the anus. So here, through this process within the cylindrical body, through this process of movement of the waste ammonia to the through the excretory duct and to the anus. So it is how the excretion takes place. They have a simple yet developed nervous system with a nervous ring, brain. It is called as brain or suprapharyngeal ganglia that leads to 4 nerve cords. Now here at the head region, that is below to the mouth, after approximately 3 segments, you can see suprapharyngeal cerebral ganglia or brain. So the same is called to be as the ring also, nervous ring or the brain or the cerebral. So here in this diagram you can see the further explanation, that is that leads to 4 nerve cords. Now you can see dorsal nerve cord, ventral nerve cord. The other 2 nerve cords is to be called as lateral nerve cords. So which are present laterally, that is from right and the left. Dorsal and ventral we can understand. Lateral in the sense whatever towards the side parts of the body. These are managed by this particular suprapharyngeal or the brain like or cerebral like nerve organization or the nervous tissue organization. These 4 peripheral nerves run the length of the body on the dorsal, ventral and lateral surfaces. The ventral nerve is the largest. Each nerve lies within a cord of connective tissue lying beneath the cuticle and between the muscle cells. So here you can understand that whatever we have discussed earlier, it is nothing but that just below to the epidermis, whatever the muscle cells are present, through that this particular nerves are going to pass through. So dorsally, ventrally, laterally on both the sides. These organisms, especially the nematodes, are devoid of the circulatory system and respiratory system. In these organisms there is no circulatory system like the blood. Within the higher organisms there is no respiratory system as it is in the higher organisms, where the inhalation or exhalation of the air or the exchange of the gases will take place. So they use diffusion to breathe and for circulation of substances around their body. So the process of diffusion will be used within their body. So the every part of the body or the cell of the body is going to get the nutrition and also the gases. These organisms are sexually dimorphic. They are separate in their sex, like male and the female. They are going to have male organ separately and a separate organism or individual of the organism. The female will be separate, male will be separate, female will be separate. Some such as Synarctitis elegans or Androdioecious, consisting of hermaphrodites and rare males. You know what is hermaphrodite? It is an organism that has complete or partial reproductive organs and produce gametes normally associated with both male and female sexes. So here this is Synarctitis elegans. You can see this is the hermaphrodite. In this you will observe spermatheca here, and ovulation also. So within the organism, the fusion of the gametes is going to takes place. So this is the hermaphrodite. Here what the organism having male and the female both the sexes is the hermaphrodite. With this there will be one more, that will be the male again. That male is going to take part in the donation of the sperm to this particular hermaphrodite, and there will be the exchange of the gametes or the fusion of the gametes to develop the organism. So this is what the Androdioecious. But hermaphrodites will be more compared to the males. Within these are going to present the hermaphrodites are going to have the males rarely, where the hermaphrodites are going to be present in the high number, but the presence of the males will be low number. So that is what consisting of hermaphrodites and rare males. If the hermaphrodites are more, the males are going to present very rarely, but these two combinations is called to be as the Androdioecious, because in the hermaphrodite also there is the male feature, the separate male feature is also going to present. That is what going to be the Androdioecious. Fertilization is internal and reproduction is sexual. There is no asexual reproduction in this. So whatever the sexual reproduction is going to happen, after that the fertilization will be internal within the body. The organisms develop within the body. They possess amoeboid sperm cells. The sperm cells will be amoeboid. They are self-dependent depending upon the environment, and they are going to take part in the competition to fuse with the ova. Androdioecious or Androdioecia, the coexistence of males and the hermaphrodites. This is the simple terms when compared to this, but both are explaining the same. Now here the phylum Nematoda is divided into two classes: Adenophoria or Phasmida, Caesalniantia or Phasmidia. These are the two classes. These classes will be separately discussed with the perfect examples, and it will be uploaded later. So here these are the few slides which are discussing about the nematodes, Helminthes or Nemathelminthes characters. So I hope I have given the brief introduction about the general characteristics of phylum Nematoda, and I had been very audible and reached to you guys with the complete information which is required to you to understand. Thank you for watching these slides, and I request you to subscribe our YouTube channel and to follow our Facebook page also, and help us to build our this service at your requests. And also I request you guys to provide me with certain topics, so I can come up with your demand, and which will help me to reach you guys very often. Instead of I am preparing my own kind of slides, it will be very helpful for me